Darlings, welcome back. I am so excited for this video. You guys really seem to enjoy my one and done eyeshadows video, and many of you asked if I could maybe come back with a part 2, one and done eyeshadows, the drugstore edition. I thought that that was such a fabulous idea, and that is what we're gonna do today. Let's do it. All right, let's start with, this is such a cool and weird formula. I don't think I have anything like this in my collection. This is the RIMMEL Wonder Cloud All Day Wear Soft Shadow. So it's a cream eyeshadow, fabulous for a one and done. Doe foot applicator, very sheer. Actually, very sheer formula. All the shades are matte and it's so lightweight and airy and mousse-like, and hey, you know what? It's kind of like a cloud. And it blends out so beautifully. It almost feels a little bit like a primer between the fingertips, and so you can just sort of blend out the edges with your finger. It's effortless. So my favorite shades to wear all over the eyes is a bit of a one and done look. Spiced Petal. This is sort of like a pink and clay. Or a blushy tone, and I love blushy tones on the eyes. I think it reads as very youthful. And then also Truffle Haze. Truffle Haze is sort of like a minky taupe or a cool tone brown perhaps. I think both of these shades are just such workhorse shades. They're everyday appropriate, they're office appropriate, and I tend to reach for these on days when I just don't have the time or the inclination to do the whole blending business. I just want to like toss something on my eyes and I want something sheer. I think these would also be really fabulous for beginners. You cannot stuff it up, they're so easy. Obviously I have to talk about the Maybelline Color Tattoos. This is such a classic formula and I think a really good dupe for the MAC paint pots. So they're really creamy to touch, but once they set on the eyes, they set bulletproof and they last all day. Really fabulous longevity. So obviously one of my favorite shades, and I know this is a favorite shade of many, On and On Bronze, which is a cool toned bronze, I would say. It's not exceptionally warm or orangey. It reads very neutral on the eyes. On and On Bronze looks great on everybody. Perhaps my favorite shade in the lineup is Dusk Doll. What is Dusk Doll? Is it like a pinkish grayish? Is it a fawn color? Is it part of the mauve family? I don't know, but this shade is gorgeous. It gives me that blush tone vibe on my lids that I love. I love a monochromatic blush tone look. So blushy tones on the eyes, blushy tones on the cheeks, a little bit of a soft blushy tone on the lip. That is my vibe, and Dusk Doll is perfect for that look. Another really cool color in the range is Groundbreaker, which is sort of like a purpled mauve, but as you blend out the edges, it kind of takes on a little bit of a rusty quality, which I think makes it look like you might be wearing more than one eyeshadow, which is really cool. I will say, just a little quick FYI, that this one can look a little bit bruisey on the eyes. I personally love a little bit of a bruisey eyeshadow tone, but it's not for everyone, so I'll just throw that out there. And then also another shade within this line that makes for a beautiful one and done eyeshadow is Socialite. So this is a bright pink and champagne, and it just brings so much brightness to the eyes, and it makes the eyes look really fresh and awake. In terms of longevity, I think that the Maybelline Color Tattoos probably rank amongst the highest of all the eyeshadows that I'm wearing today. They last forever. Sort of similar to the Maybelline Color Tattoos, we've got here the Revlon Color Stay Cream eyeshadows. I have to pick up more colors in these because I freaking flippin' love these. They're so beautiful. So this is Caramel, which is another cool tone bronze. It's like a light bronze, not too dark. This is going to be perhaps a controversial opinion, but I think that I even prefer the Revlon Color Stay shadows to the Maybelline Color Tattoos. The Maybelline feel like a more traditional cream eyeshadow, whereas the Revlon feels like, it feels thinner underneath the finger, and it feels like it could almost be like a cream powder hybrid. I also think that the Revlon has a little bit more of a pronounced glimmer, like the twinkle, it just twinkles a little bit better in the light. So yeah, definitely check out the Revlon Caramel, and I've got to buy some more shades. I've got another one from Revlon here. Man, Revlon kicking goals. These are the Revlon Velour eyeshadow sticks. So I spoke about these in my first one and done eyeshadow vid, so I won't bang on about them too much, but essentially I just need to tell you guys that these eyeshadows rival my high-end eyeshadows. They are insanely opaque. That was a terrible swatch. They're insanely opaque and creamy and smooth, and they apply perfectly evenly and they blend out like an absolute dream. If you are looking for a one and done smoky eye, can I please recommend Truffle? This is such an incredible velvety chocolate, dark chocolate brown. It's like 80% cocoa, let's say. And it has this beautiful depth and richness, and yet it blends out to this perfect gradient. You would imagine that a color like this would be quite difficult to work with. Truffle is effortless. Ooh, I'm pretty proud of this discovery. If you are looking for a really editorial, glossy, wet look eye, scattered glitter, look no further. These are the Models Prefer Foil Finish Cream Eyeshadow. Warning, this texture is odd. It's plain odd. You have to be really careful when you put your finger into the pan that you're gentle, because if you're not gentle, you could go straight through and touch the pan. That's how wet and soft this consistency is. I don't necessarily think that it's going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I think it's such a cool foily effect. So it's kind of a little bit like gold leaf in a way. And my application, my best application tidbit here is to take the product on a finger and then swirl it on the back of your hand until the product looks and feels smooth. Because it's kind of like a paste and we want that paste to be smooth. And then from there you can pat onto the eyes. I find that you get a little bit more of an even application that way. But yeah, sparkly eye top coat goals. Obviously I'm quite partial to this pink and champagne because it gives me that glossy eye effect, but the other shades perform equally well. Just such an amazing find. I don't know why more people aren't talking about this one. Also, another one that is very similar to the Models Prefer formula, this is the Australis Metallics eyeshadow, which is another amazing kind of gold leaf foily effect eyeshadow. You can absolutely wear these foils on top of like an already elaborate eye look if you're feeling really fancy, but my absolute favorite way to wear them is on an otherwise bare eye. So just take this glitter and really focus it on the ball of the eyelid, the center of the eyelid, to give you that wet look, scattered glitter editorial effect. Finish that off with like a slick of mascara and some really clean, dewy skin, and chef's kiss. That is my vibe to a T. So yeah, also I will say I've owned this product for a long time now and it hasn't gotten dry and crusty. It strikes me as something that would dry up quickly, but no, I am pleased to report it is still in perfect nick. Ooh, okay, this is not technically drugstore, but Colourpop Super Shock Shadows in some countries, depending on where you live, can work out to be even, oh no, it shattered. Why? As I was saying, before I was rudely interrupted, the Colourpop Super Shock Shadows can actually work out to be even more affordable than drugstore in some countries. The Super Shock Shadows I would describe as a cream powder hybrid, and there are so many shades that I would love to talk about. Oh my gosh, Desert, love Desert. Frog is an incredible unicorn shifty shade. Sequin is the most amazing glittery rose gold. God, that one's beautiful. But today I really wanted to focus on Ritz. So you guys actually recommended that I purchase Ritz, and it is glorious. It has a little bit of a warm peachy base with a bit of a cooler tone reflect on top. And actually a lot of my favorite eyeshadows are like that. Warm base, cool reflect. Another good example is the Tom Ford Cream eyeshadow in Platinum. That definitely reminds me of this. I think that Ritz is really special because even though it's like sparkly and multifaceted and really fun, it still reads to me like a nude eyeshadow color. Like it catches the light and it adds a lot of interest to your makeup, but it doesn't read as like a big eyeshadow look. Like this is something that I would wear on a Tuesday. Obviously, I love this all over a bare eyelid. I think we have established I love all of these on a bare eyelid, but it's also a really beautiful one for elevating an otherwise boring eyeshadow look. Like, have you ever done your usual eye and then you look in the mirror and you think, boring, like give me something more? Ritz is the perfect topper for times like that. Okay, I'm aware that a lot of the eyeshadows I've spoken about are cream formulas. I think that the cream formulas at the drugstore are just spectacular, but I do have a few powder eyeshadows for those of you who prefer a powder formula. So we've got here the Revlon So Fierce eyeshadow palettes. These are new, and they're one of the few eyeshadow palettes at the drugstore that like really appeals to me. And my favorite one and done eyeshadow is this beauty over here. It's such an interesting, almost like a duochrome kind of shadow. So it has a little bit of a warm mauve base with a bit of a teal reflect. And when I look really closely at this one, I see the multicolor, multifaceted sparkles. So I see, you know, fuchsia and periwinkle and lavender and lime and all of these different color sparkles. That's what I look for in eyeshadows. Like, how complex is the sparkle? Because the more nuanced the glimmers, the more impressive that eyeshadow is going to be on the eyes. This formula actually is quite dry to the touch. It feels like almost like a bit of a baked formula, and they're quite sheer. There isn't a lot of base color, and I think that they're intended to be more about the shine and the texture than necessarily the pigment or the opacity. You know what? Actually, if you're familiar with Japanese eyeshadow formulas, it's kind of got a little bit of that. Yeah, they're beautiful and nuanced, and I love creating a bit of a watercolor effect with all the different colors as well. So that is Slight Flex. And then there's also this other palette that I have here, and it's called That's a Dub. And actually I'm wearing this shade on my eyes today, in case you were curious. Yeah, brilliant formula, love it. Another powder eyeshadow formula, these are the new L'Oreal oil eyeshadows. These are so buttery. Oh, you just put your finger in them and it's like so emollient and creamy that you feel like it might be actually a cream eyeshadow. There are a few different finishes available in the oil eyeshadows. I think they've got satin and matte, and then obviously I've got here two of the foil shades because I like a shiny eye. As you have probably deduced. My favorite is definitely the shade Almighty, which is a pink and champagne that is really bright and really reflective, and it's got a bit of an angelic quality. I really love how this brightens up my eyes, and if you are one for that warm, coppery, bronzy vibe, then you should definitely check out Bravery. So yeah, if you're kind of sick and tired of me mentioning all of these semi-sheer, semi-transparent eyeshadows and you want something with opacity and pigment, then these are definitely opaque. They have a really rich color payoff, and also I really enjoy using these wet. They are really smooth and reflective that way. I will say that the glimmers aren't as complex in the L'Oreal eyeshadows as, say, the Revlon powders. The sparkles are a little bit more homogeneous and a little bit more even, I guess. But certainly a really beautiful eyeshadow, very creamy eyeshadow formula, and I'm excited to see more things like this come to the drugstore. Let me know, actually, I would love to hear from you. Have I missed any amazing one and done eyeshadows at the drugstore? Let me know in the comment section down below so that I may add them to my collection. If you'd like to see a little bit more of me, then come say hello to me on Instagram at Karima McKimmie. Over there, I talk a lot about my fitness goals, I do Instagram giveaways, I do PR unboxings. It's a fun time. I hope you're having a wonderful day, whatever it is you're up to, and I shall speak to you all very soon.